regards to Latin Palace.
That's for the first one?
This is the first one right here.
Okay.
There we go. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, today is the October 1st, 2015. This is the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for the City of Baltimore. This is the first item is on our expedited docket. Chairman, are you ready for me to read it into the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Robert Branch and William Griffith Jr. and Rashana Marley, The Art Room, Inc. Trade name is Picasso's at 2101 Maryland Avenue, a Class B, beer, wine, and liquor. This is an application for a new Class B with a capital investment under 2.08 of $200,000 in restaurant fixtures, facilities, and a seating capacity of a minimum of 75 people. This is also a request for outdoor table service and off-premises catering. Board, I provided a copy of some information from the applicant, which includes a copy of the information from Melnick Auctioneers, which is for in regards to their minimum investment. And then the second item are various set of exhibits that Mr. Kadinsky will put on the record in regards to the other investment and the menu and some other information.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the applicants. As stated, and we did have an appraisal done by Jonathan Melnick Auctioneers. And let me give you my copies, because I've got color pictures, and it's always much better to have color pictures, I think. Since we're on color on TV, I think they told me HD would show that and there was a former restaurant at this location. Unfortunately, they failed, and they were evicted by the current landlord. This group that's coming in here has the experience, and I'll give that to you. And the appraisal that was done by Mr. Melnick comes in at $348,206, which is far in excess of the amount that that's necessary. It's $200,000 for this location. Let me give you a copy of the menu. I mentioned to the chef who's over here, he must be down south, because they got she crab soup, and we don't use the word she crab soup up here. It's from down Charleston, South Carolina.
Louisiana.
Yeah, that's she crabs. And
Louisiana. I know it well.
Louisiana, they say Louisiana, New Orleans. Here's a copy of the floor plan, if I may.
Thank
It shows that there are 83 seats exclusive of the bar area.
Thank you.
They also have met with Charles Street North Community Association. They have a letter here from Don Donahue. I don't think he's the car guy. And lastly, they talked to some of the people in the neighborhood. We have petitions for people who live in that on Maryland Avenue. The hours of operation will start at 11 for lunch and go to 1 or 1:30. One of the licensees here, who's the chef, has 20-something years experience in the business. The other applicants, one of them works for the sheriff's office, going to provide security. And of course, Mr. Eric Smith, he has the experience in having run a place up near Coppin State College, and he'll also be one of the managers there. I think it'll be a nice place. And for the live entertainment, they want to have some of the more current things like poetry reading. I'm not big on poetry myself, but I mean, certain people like it. And then they have some 2 or 3. The place is not big enough to have anything of any consequence. Just something to lighten everything up.
It's zoned for entertainment?
Mm-hmm. It's a downtown business district.
Okay.
Madam Secretary, do we have anything that we need to know about in the record?
Chairman, no, as Mr. Kadinsky has mentioned, he provided, thank you. As Mr. Kadinsky has mentioned, he provided several exhibits for you in regards to the investment and in regards to the menu, and I did receive the letters of support from Charles North and a copy of the petition as well.
In addition, they have alcohol awareness certificates and then we'll submit them at the, they've already done that, and they'll have the rest of them for the other 2 licensees to be submitted. They'll be get fingerprinted also.
And which one has the experience with the alcohol? Mr. Konetsky, I'm sorry.
Mr. Smith, who had ran a place up,
Okay.
and then, where's my chef? Hey, here he is. Come on,
That's
he's the
okay.
one that worked in, how many places?
He hasn't been sworn in yet,
This
so,
is just filler.
just filler?
Why don't you put
When-
your
Why don't
client?
you raise your hand?
When did you start that? Is that a new rule that you just started? And
You know, you need somebody who's a nice filler?
Filler, huh?
put your right hand up, because he's gonna wanna ask you questions.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
State your name and address for the record.
William Griffin Jr. My home address? 3311 Wild Cherry Road, that's Windsor Mill, Maryland, 21244.
I don't think I need to know about she crab soup, because Mr. Trotter knows all about that.
Yes, I see he was
He's been
perusing
to
the menu.
Louisiana.
I know the, nice menu, nice menu.
Thank you, sir.
And where have you been a chef, where you accumulate all this total?
Worked for Bon Appetit Management Company for the last 15 years, Harbor Court Hotel for 6 years, a few other freestanding restaurants around Baltimore, resorts, hotels, and different other places.
And alcohol, Mr. Konetsky.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
They had alcohol and you worked in that
Yes,
department?
all of them, yes.
And along with that, you're gonna be on the site most of the time, is that correct?
Majority of the time, I will be on the site.
Who's completed the program?
This gentleman behind me here, Robert Branch, one of the licensees. I don't know if you need this, or we'll usually submit them later on. Oops, wait a minute.
Do you have a copy?
Here's the copy.
Perfect.
When this is gonna open?
They've probably got some things that they've gotta do, once they get the checklist, I would say within a month, would that be fair? Yeah. They've been working in there.
And they're leasing this property? Okay. And the furnishings inside? Or is that?
Furnishings were existing by the landlord as part of their capital investment.
Okay. Is it gonna be their capital investment or the landlord's?
It's the capital investment that you recapture on behalf of the.
Lease, okay. This is what, 2 blocks above North Avenue? About 2 blocks above?
Yeah, 2 blocks.
Any other questions from the commissioners?
None? It's okay.
I'm a yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Don't be surprised if you see Mr. Trotter there for some
Yeah,
she
I
crab
might be,
soup.
I might be down there. I was looking at the menu, it looks really good. We have his paper.
A lot of paper.
I'll put that in there for you guys. I'll take this from you. Okay. The first item on the regular docket was postponed. It will come back to you on the October 15th docket. The next item is Martin Corboy and Brent Sale, 1117 South Charles Street, the LLC. The trade name for this is CNR's Pub, 1117 South Charles. This is a Class B beer and wine application for transfer and live entertainment with outdoor seating. As I understand, I believe that the applicant is not here, and I believe that there's information that we had requested that we did not get, so I believe that they thought it might be postponed. So I just wanted to, but I don't see the attorney nor the applicant.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll make contact with the attorney in regards to this,
And
the
reschedule.
status.
And
If they
reschedule.
desire it.
Okay.
We're ready.
No problem. Bryson, I'm just gonna read the next one, is that okay? Okay. Next one is Song J. Lee, Pat Liquors, Inc. This trade name is J&J Liquors at 2601 North Hilton Street. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. It's a request for hardship extension under 2B 10504D. Board, this is one of the, we received a letter from the licensee on May 8th, 2015, in regards to that their store was damaged in the civil disturbances that occurred in April. And I wanted to make sure that we exercise their their hardship in the right amount of time. I sent them a letter on July 1st that just noted the operating status due to the civil disturbances. And that's what I'm asking you in this matter, is to allow them the hardship extension based on both their initial inquiry from May and because of my letter in July.
Okay. I'm going to be presumptuous. Do both of you speak English? Well, enough. A little bit. Okay. So let's do this. Let's have them both sworn in, and whatever the lady has to say, the gentleman can tell
Translate.
us. Okay?
Raise
So
your right hand.
raise your right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony
you.
that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Okay. So why don't you start?
She's my wife, and
I figured
she
that.
does speak English just a little bit.
That's
And I
okay.
just want to help, and I just like expanding legal license, and our store is burned down, and Baltimore riot. That's why.
You intend to rebuild, reopen the store?
Yes, I try to reopen the Baltimore City. I try to find several times. It's very hard, and after expanding, and I'm gonna try again. That's why. And I like Baltimore City, and but unfortunately, my store burned down completely. Sorry, and I just wanna expanding, and legal license. I tried to reopen to Baltimore City, a little, so get better area. That's why I came here.
Okay, all right. Questions from the commissioners?
Do you think you're going to reopen at this location?
Yes, I try not, and first I have to find empty space. It's very hard. I still try not, and try. And if I try not, empty space, I'm gonna reopen.
So you plan to relocate the license?
Yeah. And I got the 40 district, and I try all of on street, my district is the 40, and I still try.
And it's been, what, 180 days?
At this point, yeah, they're right at their 180-day point.
And by granting them an extension, they get another 180 days?
That's correct, sir, unless there's other efforts by the state.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions. You said that you like the city, and it's a business. We would hope that you're able to relocate, at least I personally, I'm not going to speak for the other commissioners, would be able to find a location within the next 180 days. So
Yeah.
to that extent, I'm a yes.
I'm a yes as well, if you can find within 180 days another location.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a yes, yes. 3 yeses.
Okay, so you got 3 yeses.
You got the extension for 180 days.
Okay.
Okay, all the best.
Okay.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
You'll need to go to the back and see Miss Russell in the back.
Excuse me, sir. What's his name?
I don't know, sir?
Your name?
Just making sure it wasn't Song. I
You
think
just-
Song is his wife.
John, get him to come up here, please, and give
I need your name
the
and the
reporter
spelling.
his name.
So you are Song Lee. Okay, thank you, I got it right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just wasn't sure.
Thank you very much.
Okay, the next item is Jose Ribadeneira, Latin Palace. Uno Inc., trade name is Latin Palace, 509-13 South Broadway. It's a class beer, wine, liquor license. It's a request to add lighter entertainment and to modify, basically it would modify the existing license. So they're currently, to remove some restrictions, currently the restrictions read no live entertainment in restaurant, cafe, theater, except under theatrical performances after 7 p.m. No adult entertainment allowed, no form of live entertainment, dancing to the general public on premises. Non-club members not allowed on premises unless accompanied by club member, and a food percentage of 40%. So in adopting this, making these changes, we would remove those restrictions from the license.
the
Chairman,
record.
John Pica, for Mr. Rivadeneira, and I'm being joined here by Mr. Javier Bustamante, who will be witness.
And all of those who intend to testify, please, if you're going to have your clients testify or just make a proffer, if you're going to make a
I will
proffer,
says to Mr. Rivadeneira and maybe Mr. Bustamante.
okay, but this lady is going to testify, so we're going to have her sworn in. Okay?
Have everybody.
Well, you want me to have everybody sworn in, or unless you're going to make a proffer?
Proffer, Mr. Bustamante.
Okay, let's do that. So we're going to have her sworn in.
All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, so, Mr. Pico, you're the moving party, so why don't you make the proffer? Then I'll let this lady testify. I'll let you cross, and then we'll go from there. How's
Would you
that?
like to hear about, so those exhibits were introduced? Do you want my statement?
I want you to try your case,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay?
Okay, so Liquor Board is quite familiar with this particular application, or applicant.
Previous liquor board.
Previous Liquor Board, yeah. So let me just briefly just say, on June 18th, 2015, we were here. The license was suspended for 21 days on July 31st, 2014. It was suspended for 60 days. On November the 6th, 2014, it was suspended, or the entertainment was denied. Mr. Rivadeneira was granted, and it's I believe it's exhibit number 7, was granted entertainment privileges back in 1998. He took over from what was previously a theater, Fells Point Theater. Fells Point Theater has somewhat of a unique license, and whether it was, for whatever reason, Mr. Rivadeneira thought he had entertainment. If you take a look at the exhibit number 7, it states, to use entire premises for tavern restaurant with live entertainment and dancing. Mr. Rivadeneira was attempting or was thinking of transferring this license to his daughter. He learned that there were restrictions that he was not aware of, and in June of 2014, he applied to have those 2013 applied to have those restrictions removed. I have a copy of the original letter. So from 1998 to 2013, there wasn't a single complaint about entertainment at the Latin Palace. As soon as the letter went into the Liquor Board, there were complaints. I don't know who made them. I can guess, but I'm not going to do that. But there were complaints every week about entertainment at the Latin Palace, and he had to come in for violations. It wasn't until he applied, so that's 17 or 18 years of not one single complaint for entertainment. At the time he operated with entertainment, he had 32 employees. They're now down to 4. If he's not granted entertainment today, quite frankly, I believe he's going to have to close his business. There is an MOU that was signed by Mr. Rivadeneira. He was not represented by counsel. It's my position that he was forced into doing it in order to keep his license. That was done with the community, and under the community, they would only allow him to have entertainment on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and they would allow him to operate on Wednesdays until 10 p.m.
Okay, let me, sorry to interject, but I
Yes, sir.
just want to clarify one thing. The BMZA resolution, if I understand correctly, incorporated all of the elements of the MOU, is that correct?
No, you're about 1998? You're about 1998?
2014.
2014.
2004, well, was never granted, but the MOU was signed, but the application was denied.
No, I think in 2014, there was a BMZA resolution that
Oh, the BMCA.
He's talking about zoning.
BMZA, zoning,
Zoning.
that granted live entertainment and
Correct.
incorporated the MOU, all the terms,
Yeah.
as part of the resolution.
And, Mr. Chairman, I did not, I thought they granted live entertainment with the condition that he signed an MOU with the community. I was not present for that.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I just want to make that clear on the record. I just want to make sure that I'm right.
Exhibit number 5 of yours exhibit says that.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
Memorandum of understanding with the Fells Point Community Association. signed and
It's number
number 4.
number 4.
Okay, so then we agree, for the record, that there was a resolution by BMZA, I see October the 27th, 2014.
Correct.
Which
Correct.
granted live entertainment and incorporated all of the terms of the MOU, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So he is presently not operating with an entertainment license. He has a liquor license. But I would counsel him to withdraw that MOU, quite frankly. I think it's unreasonable. This is a 16,000 square foot building.
We're the liquor board. We're not the BMZA.
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
Okay. So,
We didn't grant the MOU.
You can grant the MOU.
Yeah,
no, you're correct.
okay.
Well, then I would submit on the record, we are basically stuck with the MOU.
You'd have to go to,
Yeah,
Mr. Pica, you'd have to go to the BMZA.
I understand.
mean,
I understand. No, I understand.
we have two options, as I see it. The commissioners can agree or disagree. We can agree to give your client live entertainment, or or 3 options. Or we could agree not to give them live entertainment, or we could agree to give them live entertainment with the MOU. The MOU is already part of
The zoning.
zoning, BMZA. So it doesn't make any sense to incorporate the MOU when it's already there, because, Madam Secretary, when the liquor license is issued, it's issued subject to the use and occupancy permit, correct?
Correct, and I've been told if the use and occupancy permit will note the MOU as part of the BMZA. So the use and occupancy permit will note the restrictions as by the MOU.
So just arguendo, Mr. Pica, if this board were to grant live entertainment, I think it would still be subject to the conditions of the MOU from zoning, because we're 2 separate agencies. Follow me?
I agree. I did not represent Mr. Ribadner at the time, but if this is, yep, I agree. It does state that in 12 months, he's a good citizen, he can come back and have those restrictions removed.
It would be subject to an MOU modification.
At
Correct, with the
BMZA.
community,
At
correct.
BMZA.
At BMZA.
Would not be here.
Right.
So I'll submit on the application then, Mr.
All
Chairman.
right. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Joanne Massapus, and I'm president of the Fells Point Community Organization. And as my email to the chairman, and the commissioners indicated, I've been involved with this since late 2013. And you are correct, in fact, that we did submit an MOU at the time of the BMZA hearing that was signed by myself, David March, who is the president of the Fells Point Residents Association, and Mr. Reba Denaria. And it wasn't just that we imposed it, we actually helped to negotiate. The day of the hearing, September the 23rd of 2014, at Mr. Reba Denaria's request, we modified a couple of things. I took some notes from Mr. Pica talking, and I'd like to correct a couple of things, or clarify a couple of things. He stated that his client was, quote unquote, not aware of the conditions for all those years before 2013. Well, since they were clearly stated on his liquor license every single year, and I checked the file so that I knew that they were there every single year, one can't say that he wasn't aware of those restrictions. Number 2, I'd like to explain about the statement that Mr. Pica made as far as that there were no complaints prior to Mr. Reba Denaria's filing to remove the restrictions. That actually is really simple. There's no conspiracy theory about that. The reality is, as volunteer community leaders, we do not have the time or the desire to check every single license in our area. So we assume that businesses in the Fells Point area are actually operating according to the conditions on their license, unless we have reason to check the license. The reason we found out about the restrictions on Mr. Reba Denaria's license was when he filed to have them removed, and we went, oh, we should check and see what restrictions there actually were. Once we found out that there were restrictions, yes, complaints did start coming in, because it's generally the perspective of residents and community leaders that licensees, in order to be a good neighbor, need to follow the conditions of their liquor license. So complaints did come in at that point because we found out there were lots of restrictions on this license. Mr. Ribadeneria was not forced to sign an MOU. Certainly, it could be, the way things work is that typically community organizations will say that they will support something that an applicant is requesting based on a signed MOU. That way, you know, we have some things that protect us, they get some things that they want. Mr. Pica stated that Mr. Ribadeneria was allowed to have live entertainment on Wednesday until 2, and I would actually direct your attention to the MOU, which actually says that dance lessons may be held on Thursdays from 8 until 10, and that dancing after these licenses and any live entertainment provided during these lessons must stop at 11:30. So we actually gave him a little bit of extra time on Thursdays to have live entertainment. We actually think that this is, given the kinds of problems that the community experienced with Mr. Ribadeneria's operation for the last 2 years, including the illegal boxing match from February of 2014, we actually think that this is a reasonable MOU. We would like to see him be successful, but he needs to be successful within the context of following the conditions that are placed on his license. So at this point, myself, representing the Fells Point Community Organization, David Martz, who sent in an email saying he concurred with me, and the president of the Upper Fells Point Improvement Association are all saying the same thing, and that is that we would agree to lifting the restrictions that are currently on the license, provided that the MOU is incorporated as part of the license so that they would then be conditions on the license. The other thing I would add, for the sake of making things easy for the inspectors, is that the MOU should be attached to the license and kept on the premises at all times. Back up just a little bit. Mr. Ribadeneria, you know, and Mr. Pica will say, oh, he had no violations whatsoever. What Mr. Ribadeneria said in public at meetings many times was that the liquor board, and I assume he meant the inspectors, knew exactly what he was doing for those 13 years. And because they didn't do anything about it, he assumed that it was okay. And I just think that whether the inspectors did something about it or not is not the relevant issue here. We can't hold inspectors accountable for things that they didn't do 5 or 10 years ago. What we can do is hold the licensee accountable for the fact that the license that he got every year at renewal time clearly stated what the conditions were. So we would like your third option, which is to have the MOU incorporated and added to the license as conditions on that license. At that point, we would be willing to have the other restrictions go away.
Mr. Pica, across?
Yep.
Across.
So you support, with the MOU, the application for entertainment?
If the MOU is attached to the license as conditions, we would support that.
Okay.
I don't want to play I don't want to play a game of gotcha because
No,
you
you're
know, I'm
100%
thinking
right.
about how, you know, we have 2 separate city agencies and we have this one issue that's already been clearly decided as part of a resolution, and how we resolve it to make everyone relatively happy. I mean, we're not going to make everybody happy, but I didn't want to interject. I'm sorry. But
No, I think we have to follow, we have to abide by the MOU. That's what zoning is allowing. I don't think you have an option beyond that, do you?
you're the attorney,
Yeah, well, I know, but so are you, Mr. Chairman.
and so is Ms. Haight.
And Ms. Hafey? Mr. Trotter should be by implications. You know, he's making judicial decisions.
Could I just add?
Asopus wants to say something else.
Just one small thing. I think for the sake of consistency and enforcement, that it would be important to have the conditions of the MOU added to the liquor license. And that way, it's really abundantly clear, whether it's the BMZA or the liquor board inspectors, that these are the guidelines and that everybody both agencies should be following the same guidelines in terms of enforcement. And I think consistency is really important, not just for the community, but also for the licensee who, in the past, has said he was confused. And I would like him not to be confused about what is expected of him from the liquor board as well as from the BMZA.
Okay, so now let me ask you a question.
Sure.
The BMZA says one thing, and the liquor board says something else. If, for example, and we know, because we can't live our life looking in a rearview mirror, right? We've got to look ahead, not behind. If we know that BMZA has already attached all of the elements of the MOU, and we know that in order for the liquor license to be issued, it has to be issued subject to the use and occupancy, which is also already in place with the MOU, so that if this board, because the commissioners have to vote, if this board were to vote to allow live entertainment subject to the BMZA resolution, don't we accomplish the same thing?
I'm not really sure about that, and I'll tell you my hesitancy about that. The BMZA does not have inspectors who routinely go in and check whether or not a business is adhering to the conditions. And it's been my experience as a resident and community leader that it's really hard actually to get the BMZA to enforce most anything. And therefore, since enforcement is an important piece of it, of any agreement with a liquor licensee, to me, the most effective and efficient way of making sure that there can be some semblance of easy and reasonable enforcement is to have the conditions actually attached to the liquor license.
Mr. Pica, response?
I mean, it's all, unless I misunderstood your question, I think you just asked her, basically, if she supports the memorandum of understanding.
Well, she does. I
She
think
wants
that
that added to the liquor license.
she wants to add it to the liquor license. What I'm saying is it's already in the resolution. What she wants to do is put another layer on and add it to the liquor license.
We would oppose that, Mr. Chairman. I don't think there's any reason to. They signed the memorandum of understanding. And frankly, you talk about relatively being satisfied. Mr. Rivadeneira is restricted
Okay,
to 3 days a week
put it in the file.
and dancing,
It's on the tablet
10 o'clock.
It would go on the tablet,
Right.
and the inspectors would have it, but we don't have to put it on license. Let me ask a question.
Go ahead.
This Latin Palace has been in operation for many years.
Yes.
And they've had a liquor license and they've had live dancing.
Yes.
Okay? And the Fells Point community is sitting there for 13 years, or now I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and never had a complaint. Now, we get most of our complaints from community groups.
Right.
You know, I have too much noise, I have drunks outside, I have civil disobedience. And we send inspectors out at that time, okay? And they go out all evening sometimes, okay? Why in 13 years, nothing was reported to the liquor board of, just because you didn't know that you could violate it?
Well, actually, no. There's another piece to that. There are neighbors, one of whom is here, Mr. Powell and his partner, Ms. Gilliam, who have lived essentially behind the Latin Palace for, I think, over 8 years. Mr. Powell is here, so you could ask him more questions if you choose to. The noise has been a problem for them for over 8 years, and they've attempted to resolve it on their own, man-to-man, Mr. Powell, Mr. Ribadeneira, and that was because Mr. Powell chose to try to resolve it that way. He's also a businessman, so he was hoping that they could resolve the issue without having to take it any further. That's the reason.
8 years?
Well, you can ask Mr.
No, I'm not gonna question Mr. Powell. I'm just saying, 8 years without bringing it to our attention or the board's attention, that there is a violation of noise that disturbed the neighborhood. I'm just asking why I look at this record and it's lengthy. I mean, it's really lengthy, the noise abatement and the engineering drawings and all that type of stuff. But it just is weird, not weird, it's just perplexing that.
So
you
I could add a theory to it, but it is strictly a theory. There was a time when a lot of people in the community thought that it didn't do a whole lot of good to make complaints to the liquor board because nothing was done about it. And for Mr. Ribadeneria to say that for 13 years the inspectors knew what he was doing and didn't do anything about it gave him the impression that he could do what he wanted to do. The community had the same impression, unfortunately, for a lot of years, that in fact things were just not being, and I'm not trying to I want you to understand something here. You kind of put me on the spot. And I'm answering to the best of my ability. I'm not trying to throw actually anybody under the bus. You're asking why complaints weren't made. I can tell you that an awful lot of people, including friends of mine who own liquor establishments, just were like, what's the point? Nothing's going to happen. The inspectors aren't going to do anything, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
We're not about throwing anybody under the bus either, but we got appointed on July the 9th.
I understand, which is,
About 2 months ago. So people need to give us a chance to do our job and see where we're going to go from. Right now, what we're trying to do is follow the law. That's what we're trying to do, and be fair to everyone. Lady Liberty has a blindfold for a reason, right?
okay.
So that's what we're trying to do. All right, Mr. Pica, Summer.
Well, I find it, well, let me ask Ms. Masterplus one more question. So prior to the period of time when the liquor board was not responsive, did you ever file any complaints against any bars?
Did I?
Yeah.
Or the community?
You're taking my memory back further than my memory would like to go right now.
If you recall, if you don't recall.
I don't
that's-
recall that I personally filed any complaints.
All right. So, Mr. Chairman, based on the fact that he operated, I'll proffer Mr. Bustamante's statement.
Go ahead.
Javier Bustamante was a member of the Planning Commission for 7 years in Baltimore City. He's retired from the Social Security Administration. He attends Latin Palace between 3 and 5 times a month, and he would state that the only place he can go to hear his cultures, the Latin type of music and entertainment, and that he's never witnessed a single event that would have caused or given rise to a liquor board complaint. I'll submit, Mr. Chairman, based on the fact that this MOU is supported by the community and that Ms. Massapust, on record, supports live entertainment at the Latin Palace, I will submit.
So for the record, because what Mr. Pica said could slightly be misconstrued, should somebody want to misconstrue it, Ms. Massapus, representing the Fells Point Community Organization, as well as Mr. Martz, as well as Mr. Schiller, support the request for live entertainment, provided the MOU is attached. I think that's been very clear in the position of the community, and I wanted to just,
I understand. From a lawyer's standpoint, I find it troubling because there's 2 separate agencies. One agency has already been made a determination, specifically with all the elements of the MOU, and for the liquor board to approve live entertainments. My understanding that it's subject to the use and occupancy order, which has all of the elements, which does not preclude a community association or an individual to call 311 with a complaint for an inspector to respond, apart from MOU elements, but just generally any elements that would constitute a violation of the liquor laws. Thank you. So I don't know if I can put this artfully. I'm going to try, and Ms. Hathey will correct me if I'm wrong. But it's my opinion that the live entertainment should be approved subject to the
The conditions.
the conditions already existing at BMZA.
What's BMZA zoning?
With the BMZA, which is the MOU,
Right, which is attached to the file.
which is attached to their
Or
file.
to the,
Do you have a signed copy, Mr. Chairman, of the MOU?
Yes, we do. Here we are.
Yes.
Can I see the date on it, please?
It's October the 6th,
October the 6th, what date?
2014.
2014.
Correct. Yeah. Here's a signed copy right there.
So, Mr. Pica, that would be my vote.
Has the noise abatement issue been resolved?
I believe that it has been. Mr. Powell stated that since the violation hearing in June, they've had no further problems with that. I have to say again, because it's my job, unpaid as it is,
Do what
that
you
the
say what you gotta
community would
say.
just feel so much better about moving forward with this if the conditions were actually, of the MOU were attached to the license. I understand what you're saying. I also know logistically, if you're gonna have an inspector, and it's gonna be a liquor board inspector, we gotta deal with the reality. If anybody calls 311, it's gonna be a liquor board inspector who's gonna go out to make, I would like to make it as easy as possible for your liquor board inspectors to be able to enforce what the intention is that you have by saying, okay, well, look, here's the MOU, it's attached to the license. And therefore, we don't have to, right now, if I understand something, and Ms. Bailey Hedgepeth can certainly correct me, but as of a day or two ago, there was no use and occupancy permit that had been issued.
That's correct, but Mr. Ribadonero will have to follow through on that as part of the finalization of the transfer. So he will have to go to zoning and get the use and occupancy. And
The other thing, just to clean house here, the valet parking permit expired 2 days ago, so he's gonna have to deal with that again, which is part of the MOU. The BMZA resolution said that he had to provide a security plan. I do not know, actually, if that's been addressed, but I just am trying to simplify from the community standpoint, being able to make sure that the conditions are actually enforceable.
And I'm speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for the other two commissioners. I genuinely understand and appreciate your position. However, if there are violations of those MOU conditions, they were conditions that were placed by another city agency. I don't see how we would have the authority to go back now and enforce a breach of those conditions. We're not, this is lawyer speak, we're not in privity of contract. In other words, we're not a party to that contract. The people that signed the contract, the agreement, they're parties to the contract, okay? And so BMZA adopted that agreement and made it part of their conditions. If there's a breach of those conditions, then I would think that they are the only authority that can say these are being breached. I don't know how the liquor board can say the security has been breached and this has been breached because we haven't made them conditions.
But that's what I'm asking you to do.
I know that's what you're
Because I
asking us to
want
do.
the liquor board to be able to enforce those things. Otherwise, quite frankly, the community really doesn't have an enforcement tool.
Well, then why did the community go to BMZA and ask for the
Because it
MOU?
had to go through the BMZA before it came to the liquor board. That's required by law. All
Okay.
we're asking is that you please give us the ability to be able to have the liquor board enforce the conditions by making them part of the liquor license. That's all we're saying. Now,
No, I understand. I made my decision. I mean, it's up to the other two.
Any questions?
And you're against having it in the file, because if we put it in the file, the inspectors will have access to the MOU.
I think that what Mr. Neal just stated actually puts it all in a nutshell, which is that if the liquor board, if it's not conditions to the license, then the liquor board cannot enforce those conditions. That puts us up a creek.
The conditions, but not violations. I mean, anyone can have a violation, liquor law violation.
Right.
But the point is, the point of having the MOU that specifically addresses live entertainment issues is so that if there's a violation of those conditions, which were negotiated, that they could then be enforced by the liquor board. That's absolutely what we need. It's absolutely what we're asking for.
In our jurisdiction.
if the liquor board makes the conditions part of the liquor license, then they can, in fact, be enforced by the liquor board.
Mr. Chairman,
He has to be sworn.
You have to be sworn in.
we'd have to be sworn. Mr. Pica, are we gonna go back and forth
I
all
don't,
day?
I don't- I don't think so. I think the record is pretty clear, and it's good, and that you have the power to do that if there's a complaint, and I'm pretty sure Ms. Massapus will remember what days they can have live entertainment and which days they can't. I'm sure she'll make a point of spreading the word. I have full confidence in her ability to do that.
I'm not sure I take that as a compliment, but
Oh, that's a
okay.
compliment, please. It's the best one you're going to get from me today.
Okay, well then, taken.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna vote. That's enough testimony. We're gonna vote.
And this was a House bill
This was a House bill that was passed into law. Yes,
that says we may define the terms of the condition.
that is correct. And if you see, shall was stricken, and they supplemented may. And just for the
May I see that,
record,
Mr. Chairman?
just for the record,
wanna
we're talking
see.
about a House bill that was passed into law recently. Senator Ferguson contacted me and said, you know, we had some questions about community associations and MOUs, and we passed a law applying the MOUs. It applies to new issues and renewals, does not apply to violations or extensions, and the language was changed from shall be included to may be included. But Ms. Hathey will give you a copy of that. I read the law, and
I'll submit, Mr. Chairman.
okay. He submitted, she's done. It's time to vote.
I would vote to grant the liquor license on the terms and conditions of the zoning. You could put the zoning MOU as a condition of the liquor license. I don't have a problem with that.
I agree. Right, I think it's functionally the same thing if we
Just put the zoning on it.
just put the zoning on it, and then they have to
Conditions of
follow
the-
the conditions that the zoning set forth in the MOU.
And if they change the zoning, we change the
And they would change
conditions
the
of the liquor
license,
license.
right? So it's subject to the zoning conditions, or
Mm-hmm.
the MOU conditions.
I wouldn't put the MOU on the license. The MOU is part of the zoning, right?
Yes, sir.
I would just say, subject to the zoning conditions.
You understand what they're saying?
I do understand it. I have a difference of opinion
I
and a different
understand.
perspective.
We're calling a chicken a duck, actually, is what we're doing, but
Well, unfortunately, they don't quack the same.
I understand. But that's
It's
where we're.
functionally the same thing.
Functionally the same thing.
It's
and-
functionally the same effect.
But let me ask you a question about that. Because I really am trying to understand what you're doing and to make sure that, you know, I'm probably not going to change your mind, but, so if there's live entertainment held on a day that it's not allowed under the MOU, and somebody calls 311, who's going to go out?
Liquor inspector.
The liquor inspectors will go out, right?
Liquor inspector goes out.
Okay, that answers my question.
Right, so it's in
You
the,
want to see the 311 calls we've answered to Latin Palace? We have a whole record of it.
I know you do. Actually, I've seen the whole record. I've been
Okay.
part of the
We
whole
have a
record,
whole record of that.
unfortunately, yes. But I just wanted to clarify that, because if it looks like it's only a zoning, conditions of zoning, then who knows who's gonna go out? But if it's, if,
If the zoning says you can have live entertainment on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it's on Tuesday, it's a violation of our permission to grant that license.
right,
It's as
Okay.
simple as that.
it's, right,
Okay.
it's still a violation.
It's a liquor law.
okay, I
Right.
just wanted to be really,
But can we enforce security and that type of stuff? There's laws there's regulations that say you have to have a secure space, but we're not gonna examine the security policies.
sure, and
of
it's
the
unlikely
organization.
that people in the community would call 311 about that issue unless there had been a disturbance and it was learned that there wasn't adequate surgery
And the
of security.
valet parking, for example. I mean, that's not part of liquor
Right.
license.
No,
but
we
it-
under- and
it's
we
part
underst-
of
Well, we
zoning.
can make that
Zoning.
part of the
Sure.
getting a license, because she has to Michelle has to have all the body of information to grant the license.
Right, okay. Yeah, and I understand that there are certain provisions in the MOU that are not going to be things that are going to be enforced by the liquor board and things that can be. I just wanted to be clear about the things that could be, so that when people come to me with a question, because they will come to me with that question, I can give them an accurate answer.
Right.
Okay.
And Madam Secretary, we're going to put the MOU in the file.
Correct, and as the files are, for inspections, it'll be a PDF in the file, so it will be part of the electronic file as well.
Okay.
But you have to understand, it's the community responsibility to keep track. We do compliance, okay, and we make sure they're complying to our license, but we aren't in there enforcing every day, checking everything.
Oh, I understand that.
So you have to say, well, there's problems at this establishment. We just don't
Yes.
have the enforcement agents.
Yes, sir, I do really understand that. I've been doing this longer than I would care to tell you right now.
It's an interesting read.
I hope, actually, the reason I sent the email that I did was because I knew that you guys had, the three of you, sorry, had just recently been appointed, and I felt that it was important that you understand the 2-year history that we've had dealing with this, and so hopefully that was helpful to you.
Yes,
It was. Appreciate
We
it.
do the best we can, Ms. Massapus.
I know, I tried to help by
Okay.
Chairman, for the
submitting that.
record, I didn't, so is it, what is the vote? Is it 2-0 or is it 2-1 or 2-3? 'Cause
I think it's
did you
3-0,
concur? 3-0.
actually.
3-0
3-0
concur?
to grant live entertainment,
With certain-
Subject to.
subject to the
Subject to-
conditions of
of the
BMZA.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, the effective date of that MOU is what?
The MOU is dated 10/6/14, so October 6, 2014.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pika. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Massapus.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
I'm going to change a couple things in the docket, move an item.
Okay.
So the last item that was on your regular docket is postponed. That was Claude Shell for Lil's Place. I'm going to change to the, instead, I'm going to go to Bok Soon Wan and N.U. Park for JJP Inc., Worldwide Liquors at 5910 Pulaski Highway. This is Class A, so that's number 2. Beer, wine, and liquor, a violation of Rule
Number
218.
two.
Yeah, number
Number
2.
two?
Number 2.
Number 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah, a violation of Rule 218, illegal conduct. At approximately 3:42 p.m., inspectors Karanakolis, Chrysomalis, and Fossler visited the establishment on a special investigation, and they found a 14-year-old minor serving alcohol. On the same date, August 20th, there's a violation of Rule 4.08 on August 20th. At the same time, 3:42 p.m., the employee, we asked for employee records and the management of that employee, so that was based on a 311 investigation. So the 2 of these are in regards to 2 incidents that occurred, one incident that occurred on August 20th, 2015. I have the inspectors here to testify.
And the second one was August 14th?
August, they're both on the
Same day.
same day, August 20th, at 3:42 p.m. versus 11 o'clock p.m. So I just want to make sure I made that note changed.
So one is the 14-year-old and the second is the records.
The records for that employee, correct, because he's a 14-year-old.
Right. Okay. Now, which one of you is the licensee?
Oh, I am.
You are, okay. Do you disagree with these allegations?
No, I agree with what happened. This, we are totally wrong about that. But first of all, that was my
Okay,
son.
okay, hold on.
You have to
Hold
move forward.
on. So she's not going to disagree, so we're not going to need to have the inspectors sworn in, okay?
Yes, sir.
But stand by.
Yes, sir.
And sir, are you going to testify or no? No. Okay, so we're just going to have the lady sworn in right now, and she's going to give us mitigation because she's not going to contest the charges.
Now raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No.
Yes, I do.
They're
Okay, and for the record, your name, please?
Yun Park, E-U-N, middle initial is J, and Park, P-A-R-K.
Okay, so now tell us on August the 20th, when these gentlemen came in, and I guess it was your son? Was it your son? Okay. So tell us what happened.
Okay, I wasn't that time, and we had a little snowball stand that, my kids are working for help, for their tuition for the school. They're making a little bit of money for their own tuition.
Okay.
So at that time, that was the last day of the snowball stand. So, they were him and, my kids, they were busy on like cleaning. And, my kids was doing the cleaning, and it was heavy stuff, in the snowball stand. So my son went to the inside the store and called him to give a little hand. And at that time, he came out, and my son was still in the store. There was like, he had to watch some people.
Okay.
But I don't know. He never worked that kind, at the liquor store. I mean, he been like liquor store visiting for a couple times, but he never worked like that. So one of the inspector came and tried to buy alcohol. I think he didn't know, so he served.
Okay, so let me just get this straight. The allegation is your son was 14 years old. Is he 14 years old?
Yes, sir.
And he sold the alcohol to the inspector?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then the inspectors asked for records. And the allegation is that the records were not available. And I'm assuming, I hate to make an assumption, I'm assuming that the 14-year-old son didn't know where the records were, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you weren't available?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
home, so.
Was there another adult in the establishment who knew where the records might have been or could have served the inspector, or was it just your son? Was there no other adult in the establishment?
It was just my son, and he was outside of the store.
Okay, so
But
then,
who was inside the store?
Oh, my son was like, he was in there,
I was inside, outside, like,
but my son came
Clean the
in
tray.
the,
okay, no, but he hasn't been sworn in yet. So now, since you've testified, you're gonna have to raise your right hand, get sworn in as a witness.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I can,
And your name?
Sang-Jun Park.
Okay. So now, you were in the business when the 14-year-old son was in there?
Yes.
Yes. But the 14-year-old son is the one who served. But where were you when he was serving the alcohol?
I was come in, was it like come inside, outside from like come inside?
Okay, so you were outside and you came inside,
Yeah.
and it was already done?
Yes.
Okay.
Was there any other adult in the liquor store at the time? At the
That
stand?
time, I was like only like other in the liquor store.
Who was running the liquor store at that time? You were. But you were outside with the children, you'll have to tell me, with the snowball stand, is that the idea, or what?
yeah,
Yes.
that's the
Okay. Okay, and so, did the inspectors ask you for the records?
He inspector asked like my son for the record, and then like already I came in,
Right.
like it's by done.
Okay, did you offer to show the inspector where the records were?
Yeah.
You offered to show him where the records were, but did you give him the records?
No, my son gave it to them.
Your son, the 14-year-old, gave the liquor inspector the records?
No. It's like I'm talking about like a receipt. He.
Oh, the
sent it.
receipt.
other, he
Okay.
sold it.
I'm
This is
talking
sold
about
it
that.
for you.
Okay,
This is
okay,
the
okay.
These are the employee records.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
It was. I'm not hired like my son, and like
Do-
they was like.
Madam Secretary, what do we have in terms of priors with this establishment?
0. So they've been an establishment since 2004. They haven't had any other violations. And so the two charges are piggyback on top of each other. The illegal conduct is in regards to the fact that there was a 14-year-old selling alcohol. And then the fact that basically the standpoint is that a 14-year-old shouldn't be selling alcohol.
So for a first offense, unless I'm mistaken, the fine is a $500 fine, correct?
That's correct, and it concluded to, suspension and revocation on any
Could
offense.
be a suspension, okay,
Right.
all right. Ms. Safety?
I need, so let me just
Mhm.
get
Sure.
this clear. So as far as the second violation, the inspector did not request the employee records from.
Yeah, it's more the fact that this is an illegal conduct with the employee rule. So it's not, I said employee records, but it's the employee rule from the standpoint that you can't have anyone under the age of eight.
It's the same.
So it's the same.
So
It's a,
merges.
it's a merge. You can merge the two
Merge.
charges. So it's like, it's a piggyback. We were able to buy alcohol from someone who wasn't of age, and the fact that the person was of age and they sold it. So it's two charges of the same thing.
Would you like to tell us anything else?
I came here for, it was awful. I
It was
really,
okay, I understand.
but it won't happens again,
Well, I don't
Oh,
think
you have to realize
Always
it's a
try
very
other
serious offense for somebody a minor, a 14-year-old, be handling alcohol. I don't care if it's your first offense or your 50th offense. It's a very serious violation up front.
It is very serious,
You're letting a liquor store go unattended,
right?
okay?
We don't be hang around our two children, we can promise that.
I'd most probably be lenient on you if it wasn't a 14-year-old. I would say $500 fine.
I agree, $500.
agree. $500 fine, no suspension.
Okay, no suspension.
And don't do it again.
So that's a total of
Next time you'll be
625.
closed down- You will be,
You'll be closed for a couple of days or a period of time. Now you're just paying some money, so.
okay?
How long,
Take it for
how
what
long
it's
would you like to pay it? What, is 7 days enough? 1 week?
yeah, 7 days.
7 days, 625.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Have a good day.
Okay. We're gonna go right back in order. I'm sorry.
Hold on a
That's
second,
okay.
please.
No problem.
What's the next one?
The first one, Surinder Singh.
Uh-huh.
That's M and P and A and P. Surinder Singh.
That's the first violation.
Reverse
Okay, now, just for the record, I've sent a communication to the executive secretary.
Sorry, I'm not on the record yet. I just want to make sure.
Oh,
you
go
said-
ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, now that we're on the record. I've sent a communication to the executive secretary, and I think it may have been copied to the other commissioners, that I know Mr. Singh, that I've done settlements for him, not on this property, and it's not subject to this property, but I have been a settlement attorney for him in other properties. And so for that reason, sua sponte, on my own motion, I'm going to recuse myself. Now, the commission can sit with two, and Ms. Hafey is an attorney, so Ms. Hafey will conduct from the legal standpoint of the examination, and I will, just for the record, I will physically remove myself and go into the other room, and then I'll be called back. Okay, thanks.
Get off that easy, huh?
No, I'll stay right here.
Okay.
No pressure.
So at this point, then I'll read the charges into the record. It's Surinder Singh, M and P, A and P Inc. Trade name is Joe's Tavern and Pizzeria. This is located at 2709-11 Washington Boulevard. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor. There are 3 charges. The first charge is a violation of Rule 4.18, illegal conduct. This occurred on July 10th, 2015. Inspector Kranicolas and Agent Foster visit the establishment on a special investigation. Upon arriving, they observe patrons consuming alcohol with open containers in front of the establishment. The second charge is a violation of Rule 3.03C, which is employee records. That's on July 10th at approximately 11:45 p.m. Both Inspector Kranicolas and Agent Foster visited the establishment in the investigation. They asked for employee records of all personnel that worked at the establishment. They could not provide this to the inspectors upon request. The third one is a violation of 4.18, illegal conduct. July 18th, 2015, at approximately 11:15 p.m., Inspector Kranicolas, Inspector Chrisomalis, and Agent Foster visited the establishment to conduct a special investigation based on community complaints. Upon arriving, they observed patrons consuming alcoholic beverages with open containers in front of the establishment. So there's 2 open containers and 1 employee records. And I believe Agent Foster will be making the presentation on the July 10th items, and Agent Kranicolas is here, Kranicolas, and Chrisomalis is here in regards to the 18th.
Okay, great. Why don't we have everyone sworn in? Is your client going to testify?
Absolutely.
raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
For the record, Melvin J. Kanensky, 19 East Fayette Street, representing the licensee.
All right, great. Does your client dispute these charges?
No, yes.
Agent, why don't you
Okay.
testify?
Agent Mark Fosler, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On July 10th at approximately 11:30 p.m., Inspector Kranakolis and Agent Fosler initiated an investigation of this establishment, Joe's Tavern and Pizzeria, based on information provided by a community association representative. During our observations, we observed a patron exiting the establishment with open container of alcohol, and then re-entered the establishment. When queried by Liquor Board staff, the patron stated he was regularly permitted to take his open container outside. When we checked, the establishment did not have the approval for outdoor table service, and when we asked, the licensee was unable to provide employee records. The manager operator, Vicus, was advised of the violations, and then we departed without further incident.
All right. Any cross?
Regarding that, do you have the name of the person who you talked to that was had the container?
Just have photographs of him, Counselor.
Okay, and what did he have in his hand?
Bud Ice.
In a can or bottle?
Yeah, can.
Can?
Yes, sir.
And did you tell him that he couldn't be drinking on the outside?
Yes.
And as a result of that, he went back inside?
Yes.
Okay. And when you went into the establishment itself, who did you talk to? Do you remember?
Mr. Vicus.
What was his name?
Vicus.
Vicus, but not the licensee.
No, sir.
When you asked him about for employee records, did he say that he wasn't able to locate them or he didn't have them? Or if you remember, I'm not concerned.
They just couldn't be located.
Okay. And any time that you talked to the licensee who was next to me here?
No, sir.
I have no further questions.
All right, and just so that I'm clear, are these exhibits pictures that, or these photographs, pictures that you took, Agent?
Commissioner, some of the photographs were taken by Inspector Kranakolis that was for the 10th. And then later photographs were taken by Inspector Chrysomalis.
I'm assuming you're referring to pictures that haven't been put into evidence.
Well, we're gonna move them into evidence.
Then I need a date, time generated. I wonder what I'm saying, because we have separate incidents here. I don't know what date they're talking about.
Right, well, that's why I asked the question, if he took those pictures. So why don't we have, referring to Exhibit 4, you need to refer to the exhibit number. What exhibit? You'll need to refer.
Why don't you testify about the pictures?
Right.
Okay.
And the exhibit numbers for each picture, or each item.
Right, it looks like it's Exhibit 2.
Exhibit 2, yes, no.
Actually, there's no exhibit number.
Well, I think that's a series of pictures
Right.
they've taken.
Right, Exhibit 2 includes the photo of the license and a series of pictures that were taken on the 10th, correct?
That's correct. Under Exhibit 2, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 photographs.
May I see?
Right there.
Actually, and these are the photographs that you yourself took, correct?
Inspector Kranakolis took those photographs.
They're the ones that go with the 10th, correct?
That's correct.
Understood.
Same, Madam Commissioner. Now, the first picture indicates this is a picture of the inside, is that correct?
That's right. That photograph was taken, I instructed Inspector Kranakolis to discreetly follow the individual back inside and take the photograph.
And the second picture is, where is it, inside or outside? Looks like inside the door or outside?
Let me see it. This is outside.
Third picture, same,
Outside,
and the fourth picture here is,
outside.
I don't see, is that the same, he's holding the same thing? Are you saying he's holding the same can?
I can't tell from that photograph. We were just taking pictures of the same individual outside.
All right, why don't we move these photographs into evidence?
I will move those in with the date on them as of July 10th. Those are the July 10th photos.
Great.
Exhibit 4,
I'm sorry.
Exhibit 4, what's that? That's what? 18th?
The 18th, okay.
So, Commissioner Hayfier, so what I have is an Exhibit 1, which is a report, which is marked as a report.
That must have not been put in evidence either.
That's what I want to make sure that's what I want to
Right.
make sure that, so for the record, that Exhibit 1 is a report dated July 10th, 2015, and that is Exhibit 1. Exhibit 2 are copies of photographs.
Put it into
Yes, that's what I'm
evidence,
asking. That's why
I'm gonna offer it in.
Mr.
I could,
Agent Fossler, would you like to offer in everything into evidence? I will give you the file.
okay, offer into evidence my report from July, excuse me, Commissioner, from July 10th, photograph of the license.
Yes. That's not that.
Not that, all right.
And then the subsequent photos are also part of Exhibit 2, Agent? That you just reviewed?
Some of the photographs are for the July 10th, some of the photographs are for July 18th.
Right, but I believe that all the ones under Exhibit 2 were all part of July 10th. So that was included, that the first page was the copy of the license. This photograph here, the and all the way up until, which photographs?
Which,
So-
right.
The same
Right,
set.
same
Is it
set.
the same set?
Those are
Okay.
the same set, and I just want to make sure.
This is all for one date.
Correct, and that would be Exhibit 2.
2.
Right, that's Exhibit 2.
Now Exhibit 3. And that'll be your next set of charges.
Exhibit 3 is my inspection report from July 18th. Exhibit 4 is the photographs taken on July 18th by Inspector Chrysomalis.
How many are
Counselor?
I think there are a couple from July 10th that just got mixed into there, and I can,
there? I saw
Okay.
the same ones.
yes.
Same, second
These-
verse, same as the first.
There might be some duplicates of the 18th in there, but those are all from the individual.
It looks like there are some duplicates in here. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Definitely.
So I see,
July 10th, the individual is a tall, slim African-American man. The July 18th photograph should be of a tall, heavy-set Caucasian man.
He's heavy set.
And then there's people, as I, looking at the photo, I just want to make sure that to confirm the photo, one person has on a blue shirt with a plaid shorts, and the other one has on a black shirt with appears to be khaki shorts, and then there is a gentleman with a striped shirt, and I'm not sure if there are khaki or camouflage shorts. But those are the series of pictures that I'm looking at from those dates.
I don't know what you would do with these, but which ones you gonna submit?
So I'm going to submit the ones that the ones that you have,
Duplicates.
I know,
yeah,
so,
there are.
so which ones do you want me to pull out that are duplicates?
I don't want to put any of them in, it's up to me. but I mean, I think
Well,
where they
this
are.
is, right, so as far as
This
Exhibit
is-
3, I think these are the 3 that should be put in.
This is Exhibit 4, because this is Exhibit
No,
4.
this one, no,
Exhibit 4.
no. I separated it out.
Okay, so that's, but it starts with Exhibit 4. Exhibit 3 is only the report.
Oh, gotcha, okay. So
There's only 2 pictures in Exhibit 4.
I think these are, I think there are only just 3 pictures for Exhibit 4.
Okay, so for the record, these are the 3 pictures for Exhibit 4. Okay? Yes, you can.
All right, so I'm going to
This
move
is
in.
yours. I don't want to, this is mine. That's fine.
These three, that you thought- what?
No, you're fine. I've got it.
I'm
All
gonna,
right.
can I ask them some questions on this?
All right, I'm going to move Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 into evidence.
Just to be clear, and I'll turn my back to you, not because I don't like you. These are these 3 people outside.
Yes, sir.
This guy looks like he has a,
Okay.
he looks like a milkshake from Sonic or something, but I don't think that's a.
So we're on July 18th now?
Yeah, mhm.
Okay, I
Well-
haven't even given my report yet for
No,
July
you haven't
18th.
given your report for July 18th. We're still on July 10th.
You start putting the pictures in, okay.
It's just evidence.
All right, why don't you go to July 8th? Why don't you testify as to, one at a time. Why don't you testify as to July 18th?
Thanks, Commissioner. Agent Mark Fossler, Baltimore City Liquor Board. Based on the investigation we had conducted on July 10th, we returned, conducted a follow-up investigation at Joe's Tavern and Pizzeria. On July 18th, at approximately 11:30 p.m., Inspector Karanakolis, Inspector Chris Miles, and Agent Fossler began an investigation of that establishment. We again observed the patron exit the bar area with an open container of beer. He stood outside the establishment and consumed the beer. Again, this establishment does not have approval for outdoor table service. The patron then re-entered the tavern. I entered the tavern and identified myself to the bartender, Melissa Frey. Inspectors Karanakolis and Chris Miles entered and discreetly took photos of the patron who re-entered the establishment. We conducted an inspection and advised the bartender of the violation. The manager, operator Vickus, was not on the premise at the time. Violation was issued for the open container of alcohol outside a licensed premise, and then we departed without further incident. That concludes my report.
All right. Then we'll go ahead now and submit, move into evidence Exhibit 3. 3 and 4.
Okay. And I've noted all these into the
Okay.
record.
These go like this, together.
Yes.
Correct.
I'm gonna have to just ask questions on. What?
They're already submitted, aren't they?
These,
And I was saying they submitted the pictures before they had what the pictures before.
and now we'll,
Contrary probably, but I do sometimes follow this stuff.
all right.
Now, on this here, now, again, back to you. These individuals outside, this person doesn't appear to have an alcoholic beverage.
No, sir.
So with the Sonic Hawk, I'm referring to him. This is the big boy. It looks like he's here, and that's the same one you took a picture inside. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And lastly, it was just somebody walking by, but these are the same people outside again.
Yes, sir.
This one here is not involved in anything.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. And at the time that you went in there, you did not talk to the licensee, standing to my right. You talked to somebody was the manager? at
The
time?
bartender.
Okay. And was everybody cooperative with you when you were in there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the kind of situation where people come in and out of the place, a lot of people walk in and out.
Yes, sir.
And if the person had an open container a block away, that wouldn't be a violation of any liquor rule,
No, sir.
but it may be a violation of a city statute.
Yes, sir.
I have no further questions.
Inspector, do you have any additional testimony?
Or somebody else?
I don't have anything additional.
And ma'am, what is your name, please?
I'm Carol McCoy. I'm president of Morrow Park Community Association. And I just think that,
I think
She was
she
sworn.
was sworn in. Okay.
yes, sir, yes, sir. This is one of our newsletters for you to review. This has been a problem bar in our community.
Object, because it really, there's no probative testimony about these two incidents that she has personal knowledge. I don't think it belongs as part of the case at all.
All right, well, you're,
Okay, I object because
Hold on one second. Well, actually, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I object because as a community leader, we're trying to do quality of life issues for our community. And our boulevard, our main gateway to our community, is a quality of life issue. And this bar is not a good bar. Okay, and I'm sure if you go back previous records, you will see that we've been here many times. And I just think it's a privilege and an honor to own a liquor license, and it must be remembered. The front of the bar is trashed, the parking lot is trashed, the health department closed it down.
Wait, one person at a time.
It's really messing the record because it's not part of the case. It's going to be grounds for possibly an appeal, but somebody's testifying about something that's not for these dates on July 10th and 18th where they have personal knowledge. I understand the position of the community, but you can't be putting that in the record. At least I submit you can't.
Ma'am,
Yes.
do you have any information concerning July 10th and July 18th, 2015?
The front of his bar was trashed, his parking lot was trashed, so, on those dates.
On those dates?
Yes, ma'am.
And any other testimony about those dates in particular?
Just that it's not a community-friendly bar.
No questions.
I understand. Do you have any questions?
No
Or
questions. And
cross?
for that point, I'd ask that be stricken because that's not part of the allegations that are here, belong in the record, because it's very specific about what was being charged here, and none about trash has been included in that.
Well, I will strike it at this point, and then I will allow her to talk after your argument. Do you have any other testimony?
No, Commissioner, that concludes my testimony.
And Inspector, nothing? Thank
I
you.
file a motion to dismiss the 4.18 violations. And I'll read, I won't bore you, and you have a copy of the rule book in front of you. It says, "No licensee shall permit or allow the commission on his premises of any act which shall be contrary to any federal, state, or local statute." There was nothing that happened on his premises that was illegal, and exactly it's how it reads. It says, "On his premises, any act." If something happened on the outside, that may be so, but the rule for illegal conduct mentions on his premises. Probably it should be his or hers, but I mean, I'm not writing the rules.
Commissioner, if I can comment on that argument.
Sure.
We witnessed the customer re-enter the establishment with an open container, which is illegal conduct, bringing open containers from the outside in.
Lynn, tell me where it says that in the code,
You,
or in the rule. That container was bought at that location, correct?
yes,
You're talking about the rules where you can't bring something on a licensed premises that's not bought on the licensed premises. Correct?
no, that's not what I was thinking about.
But-
You're making an accusation that a person can buy in a liquor store, open a container, and walk out onto the street. And that's
No, I'm not saying that.
that's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, but you can't, he's saying he came back in with the container. He says it's against the law to bring an open container back in.
But he asked, okay, you, if he bought the container in the store.
No, I said he bought it in the store.
Okay, you said it. So he bought the container in the liquor store, opened it up, went outside, drank it, and came back in. Okay?
But the-
Is that a violation of the liquor law?
Not in violation of 4.18.
They don't have permission for outdoor seating or outdoor consumption.
Right.
That's not what the rule says. It says on his premises. And the premises, it consists of the interior of the establishment. If he doesn't have outdoor table service store, it's not a licensed premises. The licensed premises is the interior of the licensed premises. Now, if you think there's some other rule, fine, but I'm going by what, I hate to say this, but because it's sometimes the often fatal variance between the allegata and the et probata. That which you allege and then that which you prove, doesn't match up with what we have here.
Well, I'm going to deny the motion to dismiss those two counts.
And at this point, I will not offer in the part of the case that's most favorable to the licensee would then offer the same argument back, saying that if you charge a rule, then you have to prove a rule. Don't make a charge a rule and then don't prove the rule, but the premises itself. So I think from that point of view is that I would then ask that those two 4.18 be dismissed. I'm not going to make any argument as to the records.
So, just get this straight. Why did you, Agent, why did you go back, why did you go there in the first place? Was there a complaint?
Commissioner, I received information from Community Association representative about the establishment. Went there to discreetly observe the establishment to see if any problems occurred. During the time of the initial observations, which occurred on July 10th, observed a gentleman exit the establishment with an open container, stood in front of the establishment, drinking from the open container of alcohol, and then returned to the establishment.
Okay, so you made a assumption that it was bought in the store, in the establishment, and came out and went back in.
Yes, Commissioner.
And based on that information from the community, or community association, you came back a week later,
Yes, sir.
okay, and observed the same activity.
Yes, sir.
And were they were they, on the 10th, they had a violation, at least an alleged violation, okay? And were they aware of that they couldn't do this?
Yes, I spoke to the manager at the time, Mr. Vickus, and instructed him that people weren't allowed to exit the establishment with open containers. We showed the picture of the individual at that time and even pointed out to the manager the individual who had returned to the bar and said that he was the one that exited the bar with the open container and that he had told us that he was, that the individual, the patron, said that he was allowed to do it all the time. And we explained that couldn't do that, that was illegal.
Did anybody inform the licensee of this?
No, sir.
No, so it was just the person behind the bar?
The person who, on the July 10th, the person that was in operational control of the establishment, that's who we informed.
So, I just want to get this right. The owner or the operator of the bar knew that they couldn't take liquor in and out of the bar. You're saying
He didn't, he said he didn't talk to the licensee.
No, the operator at that time
who has
knew.
is tied to the
This is
licensee?
a different operator that was there on the 18th.
Wouldn't the first operator tell the licensee that he had a potential violation in his establishment?
We have no way of knowing whether he did or didn't. He almost said,
But
"Hey,
it's
listen."
his responsibility to.
Well, what you're saying is maybe right, but then the question is, if somebody's in an open container in front of City Hall, and that was bought from someplace on the block,
That's fine, but
That's
that's not what
okay.
that's not what we're saying.
so you can have an open container. No, you can't have an open container in front of City Hall.
That's the police's responsibility. That's
exactly
not
what
the
I'm trying
leaker
to say.
board.
That's what I'm saying, 4.18 applies to the premises. It says on his premises. What happens on the outside is a police problem. That's what I'm arguing here.
That's a great argument, but
You know? I mean, otherwise, that's how the rule is written. I didn't write the rule.
I know, I denied that motion. Right, I don't,
I gotta preserve what I'm arguing, you know.
yeah,
I know you are.
right, it could be 3.1.
Good argument, but
It is a good argument.
the,
It could have been 2.12.
why doesn't the licensee stop this activity?
If you, when you make your finding, I'll give you an explanation of what has occurred, what he's done, but I don't know that you made a finding yet, have you?
No, we haven't made a
Okay.
finding yet. We're trying to,
You know, you went through the chicken and duck routine before. I don't wanna go through this one here.
it's amazing to me that we have violations, the same violation in a 7-day period. Right? That means the establishment doesn't care. That's my opinion, and this is their first violation?
No, the last violation was in February of 2013, but I don't want to go into that because you haven't discussed until
It's a different,
it's your
different subject.
your whole mitigation. It's in regards to your punishment.
You want to go first? You want me to go
Is that
first?
an on-the-record comment? Because I couldn't hear Ms. Hedgepeth.
Oh,
clearly.
I said that.
It's gotta be fully.
Oh, sorry. That there was a previous violation, but I will be able to discuss that after they determine their decision.
Like I'm saying, it doesn't really belong in this part of the case, no.
Well, it depends whether it's the first violation or the continuous violation.
And I'm just, you're killing me with this. You've got to make a decision first.
No, but the decision is, my decision is, it's a violation, and he's found in violation of the Liquor Commission rules.
I agree. I believe it's a violation on both dates, and you're not disputing the employee records one, so it's a violation. So now we can move into
The penalty phase.
the next phase
Um,
argument.
With regard to the employee records, they have employee records. There are tons of them, yes. The problem is they're locked in the safe, and as with a lot of cases that you've heard, the people put them in there because, if you want to see them, I'll show them to you. They're names, addresses, social security numbers, and so forth. A lot of people don't want these things out in public. You know, I got to get them back, but you can just look at them to show they do keep them. What happened is they had them out before, and they start disappearing, and people have social security numbers on them, and so forth, and they have their pictures with them. So as a consequence, the licensees have been keeping them. Of course, they have to tell the person who's working there, listen, you either got to have the availability to go get them. So I don't disagree with that, but it's not like they didn't have them. They had them, but they weren't available for the board. Okay, so I'm just using that as a way of mitigation. Not you already made the finding on it. On the problem with the outside is that, people all buy at, say, as an example, maybe put in the middle or two of these, it'd be easier. Oops, I'm sorry. Will buy from the packaged goods area, and then they'll walk outside with it. And they have a tough time keeping control over the people. Now, what has happened since that time, and since I talked to him, he's posted signs both inside and out saying no alcohol outside. And in fact, there's a big stop that says stop. You can't go outside. Now, if you walked out of there, I mean, I'm certain he's not going to physically stop you from doing that, but he would probably come over to you and say, you can't come back here again. And he's also, as a security person who's now working at the door, to keep a better control over that. The 2 times he was not there, and I'm not going to speak for him as to whether or not he had the information, but now he knew, and he has these signs posted, and I'll give you these cumulatively. Some of these are duplicates, so I don't want showing the signs on the inside and the outside indicating that there's no alcohol allowed on the outside. And he's also hired a security person because the person where they buy the carryout is very close to the door on it. And I think there's been a problem with a lot of places, and I'm not blaming it on anybody. But when they went in with the smoking rule that you can't smoke in a place, if you notice, a lot of people are outside there smoking. Innocently sometimes, or intentionally, they walk outside, to smoke a cigarette and have a beer, or whatever they have in their hand. And it's not just this place. You heard places last week and so forth. Now knows that he's posted it, and he has somebody at the door, so that if they try to get out there, they'll say, "Look, sir, you can go out there and take a smoke, but you can't take, your alcoholic beverage." Some places I know they have like a little shelf, and they have them when they put it there where they can't go out. That may be the answer to this thing, because you can't smoke in the place. So he's taken, all the steps that you can possibly take in this matter, and it's not the kind of situation where I would, say that he did it intentionally, and there's some individual responsibility for the person who has the beer in their hand, too. although he's the licensee. So I think that he's posted the place, he's done, no alcohol inside and no taking out. He has somebody there that watches so they won't do it, and he has the records. What I told him to do is to make duplicate records with everything except the social security card in it and have them available. That way, if somebody came in and they said, listen, you're missing social security card, you could say, yes, or put the front part and just leave the last four digits. So there won't be a problem somebody taking somebody's security cards, because it may be far hard to believe we do have a society where people will steal somebody's social security numbers. So I think that he, can do all he can do. It's an area that's, this is not strictly, as to his establishment, but the other establishments.
And when did he implement these changes?
Between the times, within the last couple of months, he did this.
Ma'am, do you have anything to add?
I'm just saying, it was a bar forever. They turned it into a liquor store and a bar. Okay, and it's been problems ever since.
What kinds of problems?
Okay, loitering. First of all, you must keep it's a privilege and an honor to have a liquor license. So what you should do is keep your property clean. Your staircase, your parking lot, everything should be clean and neat. What is clean, then you know you run a good business. You know everything's organized if your appearance is neat. It's just been, she can go back. I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I'm telling you, we've had problems with noise. We've had continuous problems with this establishment. And it's not only that, we had 18 bars on our gateway to our community. So it's just, and we're a poor working class community. So I'm just saying, try to work with us. We don't want people out of business. We just want respect. Respect is what I'm asking for.
Is there any other violations now?
The last violation was in 2013. It was a violation of sale to minors and a violation for, in regards to illegal conduct for no trader's license and not having their license displayed. So there was a fine of $22.50 that was given at that time. So that was in February of 2013, which is within your 3-year period.
Which,
Wasn't for this type of violation. Not that any violation is good, but when for this type of violation.
No, I put sale to minors and
sale of minors is crucial.
When did it convert to a liquor store? This is BD7? It's a BD7?
it's always been it's a BD7.
Yeah,
Yes.
pizza, beer, they have a bar, it's the whole
They
thing.
serve food.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how good it is.
Well, the health department had them closed down August 29th.
I don't think that's true either. For the pizza?
For pizza?
No refrigeration.
I mean, it's tough when you try to control, and I don't want to beat this thing to death. Talk about the Ravens Stadium when they walk out with beers and all that. And because of the sheer numbers, nobody ever stops anybody. And you have some poor guy's trying to make a living out there, and you say, well, let's jump on top of him and let's, avoid the rest of the people who don't want it. The people, I see people, I was at the horse show the other day, a guy walks out, he's going off those cars, drinking his beer, all right. Is that good? No, it's not right, but nobody stops him on the thing. And this, poor guy, now he's got, he's trying to make a living, he's got employees, he put signs up, and he's gonna have somebody at the door, and he's gonna say, hey, I catch you doing that again, you're done. I was in the business, I know, I want people come in and say, listen, Dopey Joe's causing problems around here, and he ain't doing it in my place, but when I finally did it in my place, you're barred, you can't come in here.
I understand, but we can't change the rules.
No.
We
and
can't
I
change
don't
the
know-
rules
I
here.
don't know if
It's
that
not our
rule-
job.
I don't know if that's the right rule, and
Huh?
that maybe.
We're rewriting the rules right now. You think we should say you can take liquor out?
Talk to the rules committee.
You gotta talk to the rules committee.
Right, a violation's a violation. Does your client have anything to add, to say?
You want to add anything at this point?
Yeah, on the 18, they said the customer bought the Patron from a bar. We don't sell Patron shot in the bar. We sell only Patron bottle in the other side, packaged goods inside. On the 18.
They already found you. Do you have anything to add other than what I
No, I'm
told you?
actually I have like 20 property in the same community, and I have all my tenant living over there. I never have any complaint. And I put 2 trash can at my coast, front of my bar. And my bartender, when they open the store and they clean the front, and I put the 8-yard dumpster in my parking lot just for the community, because all the community, they throw trash in my yard, in my dumpster. And I can send you a report, and usually have like 6 restaurants. I have once a week service, and I have twice a week service in this area. Because all the community throw the trash over there. On the main road, I put 2 big big trash can with the lids, and people throw trash over there. This bus stop right in front of my bar, and they throw all the trash on this one. And this not true. I mean, my bar is like all trash in the parking lot, because I have twice a week service, and I can show you the invoice for that, and I can bring you the picture for that 2 trash can, which one is been placed since I bought this bar.
But you understand the main one they're talking about is people walking out with.
Yeah, I mean, I told them I have the security guard, and he won't let anybody take anything outside. When they buy, they won't let them drink anything outside.
When was that put into effect?
But since I have the last violation, 11/18.
Okay, so 11/18.
7.
No, I'm sorry,
7,
7/18. I'm sorry.
So the first violation didn't get your attention, the second one did.
No, I mean, I was getting the sign, I mean, because the sign take a little time, but the security guard, I hired it right away over there. And the second question, I have it, somebody bought from Packers Good, the Patron, and they were outside and start drinking. This was not from bar side.
Oh, but we're past that part.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to do my best over there. I'm trying to clean the community over there. I have the same block where Miss President lived. I have like 3 houses over there.
What do you think?
Said he had 3 properties over there.
In the same block where she lived at, and my property is neat and clean, and I mean.
Oh, that's not a charge.
No, I mean, I'm saying about cleaning the property,
But he's trying
cleaning,
to say he owns 20 pieces of property in that community, so he is
cleaning
part
the
of the community
community.
also.
I'm part of community also.
Right, I understand.
Right.
I understand. Anything else you want to add?
Not that big.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add?
Agent?
No, I think everything's included, except the Patron is, said it was a patron.
Right. I understood.
Thank you.
Not the liquor, huh?
Right.
No.
Okay.
So we're within the 3-year period.
I think the only thing I would add is that, yeah, you're right, but this is for different money, taking corrective action. And you heard the same thing last week, and I know.
I understand he did take corrective action, but it wasn't until the second time our inspectors went out there when it got serious.
So
And
yes, 3 violations.
3 violations.
I would say, you want me to do it, huh?
No,
I would say $2,000 for all 3 violations. No suspension of activity, but it's up to the community to keep tabs of this place and call the inspectors, 311. If you know, the problem is he did it 2 weeks, within a week, after an inspector has been out there. So, you know, you should penalize him more. But
I was going to say 500 for each, but
it's compromise, 1,500.
30 days?
So that would be, 1,500, so 500 per violation with a $125 fine, administrative fee, which is $1,625, is 30 days. So that'll be a 30-day to pay the violation.
and no suspensions.
No
No
suspension.
suspension.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any out, oh, here,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm gonna have dinner brought in.
Yeah, really.
Okay, the final. Okay, the final one is Myung Uk Kim, Kim Sink Enterprises, Inc. The trade name is Club Paradise at 1300-2 Lorne Street. This is a Class BD7, beer, wine, and liquor. Violation of Rule 3.02 cooperation. We have a Baltimore police officer that needs to be here. Officer Bauer. Hi, officer.
Hi, I'm Detective Eric Green.
Okay. So this is a charge for 3.02. It's in regards to corporate cooperation. On August the 10th, 2015, there was a set of there was a shooting at the location, and when the detectives went back, which was I believe that the shooting was on the 10th of August. When they went back on the 14th to request the video, they were not able to get that from the licensee. And so that's what this is, and I believe that that the police officer, the police detective will be able to testify to this information.
Mr. Kim? No,
Mrs.
I'm
David
sorry.
Wu,
David
I'm
Wu,
sorry,
attorney.
Mr. Wu.
representing the licensee,
Right.
and Mrs. Myung Kim's here standing.
Are you going to have them testify, or are you going to proffer?
May I ask just one quick question to him?
You may, but we're going to have him sworn in if we're,
What
let's,
is your name again?
Detective Green, Eric Green.
Okay. I would like to know if the police officer Bauer or Detective Ambrose, if they're here.
Detective Ambrose is on vacation. Detective Bauer, I don't see him here.
good, I'm listening, I know what you're going to say.
Mhm.
Well, since we have no opportunity to examine the police officers who testified, I asked the board to dismiss the case.
Case is dismissed.
You-
Don't have anyone to testify.
You don't want record?
Yeah, we're off the record. I understand they're summons, but they're not here, so, you know.
Can we defer cases? No, we can't? I don't know.
But since he asked, he had right to be able to cross-examine.
He has a right to cross-examine him
I know,
now.
he has the right.
It's not you guys, it's
But
general
the violation was not on the,
Yeah. But he also, but the fact that when he was asked, Chairman, do you want to?
He asked for the officers who wrote the report.
And they were
okay?
summoned.
And they were summoned, and they were not here available for cross-examination. No, I'm just telling you. He was asking for the officers who wrote the report. I don't doubt that this gentleman may have seen the tape, but he was asking for the officers that wrote the report. That's the violation that we have.
So I'm just asking for my identification, so I
No, no.
understand.
No, I'm telling you.
So if he could testify to the facts, the fact that he didn't write the report, does it make the case dismissed?
This case was not brought by this detective. This case was brought by the officers in this case. This is what we have. This is what we have in terms of Officer Brown. Wait a minute. Yeah.
His name's not even in the report.
Wait a minute. I'm going to tell you in a second because I wrote it down. No, I have it. I have it written somewhere.
Michelle?
Yep.
the person, I mean,
Eric Green's names are not in the report?
Nope. We have the names are in the reports are. I'm going from the other side.
so much paper.
Detective Bauer,
I'm not leaving.
Officer Bauer, Officer
So what was his name?
There-
Wayne,
He made it.
Wayne Ambrose,
They're
and the
the
other
ones that made
sergeant
the
is there.
complaint.
Yeah.
So even if you have a witness that says, I can get to the facts, the fact that he wasn't the complaining witness, you don't hear.
And we summons Christopher Bauer.
They're the ones that gave us the information. Yeah, no, I understand.
Everything else is here.
Yeah, no, I understand.
We're just not liked. You're just not liked, you're mean.
Well, I'm going to hear it again in the news, Twitter, and
Guy gets shot and you won't even
everything
hear the
else
case.
is
happened to the guy that got shot? Was it?
Well,
we
they
don't-
can't, that's the issue, they didn't have the information, because they don't have the video. That was cooperation issues. 'Cause they needed they'd seen the video on the 10th. That's the issue, is that the person, Bauer and Ambrose, had seen the video on the 10th, and that's the reason why they went back on the 14th. And so you actually need them to say, I saw the video on the 10th and saw that it existed.
Yeah, I know,
For it
that's
to
the-
go, and that's the issue.
Right. It's always fun dealing with you, Ben.
Well, you're not going to take the heat. I will.
Listen, I think you,
I'm gonna take the heat today.
I think you're going to get a, I think,
I won't get
according
any-
to the Baltimore Sun, you gotta have a health consultant on
That's
here.
right. I won't have any
Huh?
platitudes, I can tell you that.
Health consultant, I think
Your
Elizabeth,
tablet's ready.
I know,
Your tablet's ready.
I'm going back. Is my phone ready?
Your phone and tablet, it looks like he has 2 devices in his hand.
That's good, it's nice to see you being
Yes,
enough.
yeah.
Just don't give me the
Always,
heaven to lead.
yeah, it's always a
Because I don't know
pleasure.
anything about the law.
Just, I don't know if we're still on, are they still live?
I'm not on.
I got a call from the president's office that we will not have the clip-on